for joining us. This is the first one of 4 sessions, and it has been kindly provided by Kashalier UK. And I think we're going to call it KUK from now on. We all have problems pronouncing it. And this is a non-profit, not-for-profit organisation that was founded by Ritu Sharma about 2 years ago. I think it became official a year ago. Is that right, Ritu? And this organisation helps all women from all walks of life, all around the world. So we have, as you all know, we have a WhatsApp group. And when we see where women are coming from, it's just amazing. So well done, Ritu, for getting all these amazing women on from all over the world. And it's based in Birmingham, in the UK, and it focuses on helping women empower women and help them to achieve self-empowerment and success. So that's through personal development, helping them get the empowerment towards the businesses or just any walk in life. A little bit about Ritu. She's the author of a book called Rich Man's Poor Daughter. And Ritu herself, I don't know a lot about her story, but I do know that she's had really, really a lot of struggles in life. And to be able to just walk away from her family, I think is just amazing. A lot of people, unfortunately, can't manage that, especially in this climate. So hats off to you, Ritu, for doing that. And if you haven't got the book, I recommend you do read it. She is also won, this year alone, she's won 3 awards. So one is, yes. One is the She Inspires Global Award. And then she's won the Star of India Award and the Wow Global Award. So, yes, thank you so much. Great congratulations for that. We all know how much you work and that your passion is connection and to connect people together. And you do that so wonderfully. And if anybody doesn't know much about Ritu or wants to know more about the groups that we're in, please either contact Ritu. I think she's got your information. She runs, the Kashalia UK is running 4 projects through the year to help empower women. So the 4 projects are education, financial education and entrepreneurship, health and well-being, and social events. So we do have some social events. I don't know if we're going to have any physical social events. Let's manifest that we do. Yes. So these 4 weekly sessions that we're doing are running every Tuesday through October. So today I am hosting it with Ritu, and it's all about communication, positive words, kindness, self-love. And then next week we have Siobhan. I'll be hosting them all. And we have Siobhan Moss next week. I'll talk more about her later on. And then the 3rd week, Donna Joseph will be joining us. And on the 4th week, it will be our one and only Jay Regani today. So I'm just going to hand it over to Ritu.
Okay, thank you, Audrey. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for this. So, ladies, Kashalia UK is and it's a platform for everyone. What the idea is for everyone to come together, and great associations can create great opportunities, and all of us, each one of us, and I totally believe people who are in personal development, people who are looking to empower themselves and grow from wherever they are, people who are into entrepreneurship, who are working in a stream which is trying to help others. achieve their best. They all have a story, and they all have a powerful, empowering story of hardships and coming out of there. And I'm no different to that. So it's all about bringing people together who are ready to work for their betterment and for the betterment of, you know, everybody else, for the bigger good, the higher good. So Kushala UK is a not-for-profit organization, as Audrey said, and we talk about self-love, and we talk a lot about self-love whenever we get a chance to, because I personally believe, not just from experience but also from observation, that any major setbacks that we have in life, they all happen for a reason, of course, but the pain that they bring to us, and or whatever negative emotions they bring to us, is not as a result of the setback, but is the result of the weak connection we possibly have with ourselves. Yes, we're human beings, we're meant to feel the pain, the emotion, but it all comes down to how we handle it, how well equipped we are in terms of understanding ourselves and accepting ourselves. And therefore this need of, you know, running these sessions on self-love. And does not mean we don't have any. It just means that whatever we have, we want to grow on that. We want to make it bigger and better for ourselves. So so as Audrey very nicely explained, it is a weekly 4 sessions every Tuesday 11 a.m. So you've joined us today for the first one. Thank you very much for coming here, you know, sparing your time and investing in yourself. And Audrey's going to be, I'm going to be on all 4 of them. Audrey's going to be on all 4 of them, hosting them. But we have different people for the other 3 sessions coming to help us develop this self-love, this self-worth further. This series of events, we've got funding from the Community Fund, the National Lottery, and we're thankful for that. They allow us to carry on, you know, doing this amazing work that we so believe in. So Audrey, I'm going to hand it back to you, so you can steer it from here however you like. Thank you.
Okay, so we are, before we start, I'd like to ask you, is there anything particular that you're wanting to know about, learn about more, or wanting help in as regarding self-love? As I say, during this time, people are really struggling because we are social creatures. We need to be together. We need to see each other. We need to have our hugs. And what's happening, especially here in Britain, and more so here in Britain than in Europe, so I've heard, because I have a sister who lives in Europe, and she says she can't believe what's happening and what's been, you know, we've been told to do, the restrictions. And as a result, it's having an effect on people's mental health and also emotional. And just being separated, we're not built for that. We are, like I said, we're not made for that, not built for it. We're not made for that. We are made to be here to interact with each other, to help each other, and most importantly is to help ourselves. And this is what we're focusing on today, because we're all everyone on here is a woman. Don't know if you know that. We're all women, and I think we've all been brought up to believe that we have got to be here to serve other people, got to be here to do what other people want. We've got to be here to make other people happy, and that's quite detrimental as to how much we adhere to that. And that can, like Ritu said, we've all been through a lot of pain and struggling, I am sure. And I think a lot of that is because of this one of the limiting beliefs that we have got to make other people happy. And we can do that. We can make other people happy. But to do that, we must make ourselves happy, or be happy within ourselves. So is there anything that any one of you would like to know a little bit more about?
it's okay to feel like that. And what you've said is, 100%. And that's what we're going to talk about. And Audrey, I think I forgot to introduce you properly, and I apologize for that. I'm going to take this opportunity to do it now. Audrey is, apart from being one of the kindest people I have met, Audrey is a mentor. She's a transformation healer, and she works with complementary therapies to help people. And she's also a holistic funeral celebrant. Thank you, Audrey. Please take over from here.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I'm really grateful for your contribution, Kulwinder, and to share such, your situation with complete strangers. Thank you so much for that. And we're sending you really big hugs.
Oh, thank you. Always love hugs.
Big hug. Thank you. Feel free to join in as well later. Deepa, I wasn't sure if you wanted to say something. She's gone off now. Okay. So, sorry, you threw me, Ritu, because I thought you were going first. It's fine.
That's fine. That's fine. Either way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we talk about self-love quite a lot, as I said, and we talk about self-love because I totally believe that one thing that is our rescuer. So I'm going to put this up. Self-love. So we've just discussed what self-love is, what it means to us, and can everybody see my screen with my PowerPoint on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So we've just kind of given ourselves an introduction to what self-love is, where yes, we still want to be the nurturers, we still want to look after others, we still want others to feel good around us and feel important around us, but we want to take a little break sometimes and make sure that the cup we are pouring out of has been refilled properly, and we're not emptying ourselves of our energy, of the love for ourselves, and just giving to people on the outside, but forgetting the most important person in your lives, you. Now, as Audrey mentioned earlier, my book is called Rich Man's Poor Daughter, and that is the title of my book, and that is the story of my life. I was the rich man's poor daughter not because there was lack of resources around me, not because I was materially deprived, but I was the rich man's poor daughter because I did not have love around me. And not just that I did not have love around me, I was even more deprived because I did not have any love for myself. So if I tell you that for the first 37 years of my life, I lived a life of total lack of love, that would surprise you. But that was how I lived. And then the transformation happened, the light bulb moment happened, and I realized that there was no love on the outside because there was no love on the inside. And it was totally a reflection. My life then was totally a reflection of how I felt about myself, what I thought I deserved, what I believed I was worth. And that is why I was creating the same reality on the outside. And ever since I realized that it was lack of self-love that was letting me down, I started working on myself. I started working on just that. And gradually, I improved personally, and, happened to whatever else happened as well, positively. And that was totally because I had found the way to approach success on the outside. Therefore, self-love, key to success. So we talked about discussing some forms of exercises, and mirror exercise. I don't know whether you've heard of this before or not. Mirror exercise is very effective, where you don't need much of an equipment, you don't need much of training. All you do is you stand in front of a mirror and you talk to yourself. Every single day, you stand in front of a mirror. We've all got mirrors in our rooms, in our bathrooms, wherever you can. Just stand in front of the mirror and talk to yourself for a little while, even if it's for a minute, 2 minutes, and tell yourself positive things about yourself. So if I take a little pause and I ask you to think of 5 positive things about yourself. You don't have to share them out. I'm going to give you 5 to 10 seconds. If you just do that, think of 5 positive, good things you can think of for yourself. Okay, so that was 10 seconds. So if I come back for a second, because I'd like to see, did everyone manage to think of 5 positive statements about yourself? Can I get a thumbs up if we did? If it was a struggle, it should be this, and if you couldn't, it was that. Meena, we need to talk. Okay, right, so we'll carry on. So it's only 5 things. Now, considering, you know, the number of years we have lived, it should be 500 things we should be able to think of ourselves, you know, in regards to saying positive things to ourselves. So all you do is every single day stand in front of the mirror and you tell yourself good things about yourself. These are called affirmations. Make an eye contact while you're doing that, and you say it as if you really mean it. You can add any personal affirmations. These are called affirmations. These are some of them that we can start off with. You've got to tell yourself that whoever you are, whatever situation you're in, whatever circumstances you're in, you're fine. You accept yourself 100%. You approve of yourself 100%. And that you love yourself regardless of what other people's notions are, regardless of what other people's expectations are, regardless of anything. So you know how we talk about loving other people unconditionally? This is the same situation we're applying to ourselves. We want to love ourselves deeply and fully, totally, unconditionally. And remember, like anybody else, you're as amazing and as worthy of some true love. So who's going to do that unless you start doing it for yourself, unless you start loving yourself? And it's okay to know that there's certain things that you need to learn about, you need to develop, you need to get your hands on, and that is just human. Because nobody is perfect. If you look around you, you'll see all sorts of imperfect people. And some people might look perfect, but there is no such thing as perfection. Because once you achieve one level of excellence, there is that next level that you can go for. And that is consistent. Constant is the only, change is the only constant, as they say. Because you've got to keep changing to be able to get to the next level, to improve yourself further, to become that perfect that you think you would become if you achieved that level of excellence. I promise you, once you get to that level, and if you are such a perfectionist, as they say, you will want to go for the next one. And therefore, your imperfections are totally fine. They should be embraced as much as your awesomeness should be embraced. They should be accepted and acknowledged as much as your achievements should be accepted and acknowledged, and they should be paid attention to, because that's how we become better. So there's no such thing as imperfection. You are a masterpiece as well as a work in progress, and that is absolutely fine. Remind yourself of that every single day. Give yourself a chance to release your negative thoughts. Embrace positivity and optimism. And I know that sometimes it seems really difficult to be in a state of positivity and optimism. You can not always be in that state of mind. However, reminding yourself, and I quite like, if I just come back on, I quite like this story that about Buddha. And Buddha says to his disciples that in front of that wall that I see, write down something that will make a happy person sad and a sad person happy, right? And it's got to be true. And the best thing that somebody could write on that wall was, "This too shall pass." So everything's going to get past. The good times are going to go, so are the bad times. If you've lived a happy time and that's come to an end now, that's probably leading you to something happier, something bigger, something better. You've got to believe in that. And this too shall pass. So in the negative times, in the bad times, in the times when we're not feeling that much loved, especially by ourselves, this is what we need to remind ourselves. This is just a phase. This is just a matter of time. This too shall pass. And if you look back for yourself personally, personal experiences, and you know, the good idea about being at the sort of age we are, having lived at least 30 or so years, is you can actually look back and reflect, and you can actually see practical, physical examples of what anybody is talking about. So now that I'm saying, you know, you see bad times and then good times will come back and then not so good times will come back again, you possibly can see a pattern for yourself that this is true, that this does happen. So when you're going through these times where you don't feel very positive and, you know, it's kind of half and half and you're not sure where you are, remind yourself, this is going to be okay. This too shall pass. I'm trying to get back to my, here, I'm here. So affirmations are very, very useful. Try and do them every day, even if it's for a couple of minutes, it still is great. Self-talk. Now, I know Audrey is going to do some meditation related to this in a minute. And I'm going to talk about self-talk and why is it so important. Now, many a times, the reason we fail to appreciate ourselves and not be very kind to ourselves is because of this internal chatter that carries on in our minds all the times. And the sort of chatter, the sort of talk we give ourselves, the sort of comments we have for ourselves are not very positive and not very healthy. So we might be telling ourselves, oh, you're no good. You never do anything right. You're such a failure. You're such a disaster. And I can speak from experience that for the first 37 years of my life, this is the sort of talk I was having with myself. And I was constantly telling myself I was no good, I was useless, I was worthless, I didn't deserve anything, I didn't deserve anyone's love, I don't deserve happiness. I wanted it all, but I was telling myself constantly that I don't deserve it. And it was manifesting on the outside because I so believed in this, it was actually reflecting in my life. Self-talk is really important, not just because it would make you feel better if you talked to yourself with kindness, compassion, and love, but also because it would lead you to success then. Because when you start believing in yourself, when you start believing in the skills, the capabilities, the abilities that you have, they are going to develop more. Then you're going to focus on how you can make use of them rather than feeling sorry for the so-called imperfections that we talked about a minute ago. And I mentioned this child. Do not ignore that child because this is so important. Now, the inner child that we have within us, if I asked each one of you to think of yourself as a child, you would have an image of you as a child, right? Now, would you like to be harsh to that child? Would you like to snub that child off? Would you like to tell that child off repeatedly? A child is a child, and that is the beauty of it. That children need to be handled carefully, compassionately, with love. You would not snap out at a child who was in your presence and had made a mistake. Even if you got annoyed, you'll try and keep your calm and you try and tell them it's okay. It's okay. You've made a mistake now because you were not very careful. Maybe it's a spill or a breakage or whatever. You tell them it's okay. Be careful the next time. You didn't know how to handle it. You learn. Next time, be careful. And that's all we have to remind ourselves. If we make a mistake, if things don't go to plan, if we've not achieved what we wanted to achieve, rather than say to ourselves, oh, you're rubbish, You're no good. You've made a disaster. This is so horrible. You can never do anything right. Self-talk is to yourself through compassion, through love, and tell yourself it's okay. You would have done better if you knew better. You would have handled it better if you knew how to. You're learning. Everybody's learning. It's okay. You will do it better the next time. And I promise you, you will. Be compassionate. Be kind to that inner child you have within you. So this is the 5 levels of self-talk that we talk about. And if you'd like, feel free to take a screenshot of this because we need constant reminders for ourselves to tell ourselves where we are on these levels. And yes, we want to get to level 5. We want to get to the highest level of self-talk, of self-communication. So level 1 is the level of negative acceptance. Where somebody would be saying to themselves, oh, I can't have this. I don't deserve this. As I mentioned earlier, as I was doing for the first 37 years of life, telling myself, telling the universe, I can't have this, I don't deserve this, I'm worthless, I'm useless, waste of space, etc., etc. So all these low-level communication, all these low-level comments that we say to ourselves, that is the lowest form of communication, level 1. Level 2 is the level of recognition and need to change. So when you realize that how I am approaching something or myself is not the best way to do so, and you start to say, I need to change something, I should get up and do something about it, I need to change this pattern of thinking, I need to develop this skill better. That is the next level that you've taken to. The next level, level 3, is that of decision to make that change. When you actually get up and work for that change, the action. And you start talking then like as if you already are there. So for example, if somebody was struggling to stop smoking and they wanted to do that, and first level 1, they were telling themselves, I can't help it, I can't stop smoking. The level 2 would be, oh, I know I want to, I need to change this, I need to stop smoking, I should stop smoking. Then the level 3, they should be telling themselves, I never smoke anymore, I no longer smoke. So when you get to level 3, you start talking as if you already have mastered the level you want to get to. So you start telling yourself, so say for example, if you're just working on self-love, just working on believing in yourself better, just working on reminding yourself that yes, I am great, I am a masterpiece, then you don't talk to yourself at level 1 or level 2. You constantly remind yourself that you speak to yourself from level 3. I am beautiful. I am wonderful. I am the master of my destiny. I love myself. I value myself. I adore myself. I accept myself 100%. That is level 3. Level 4 is level of better you, when you actually start to believe in what you have said to yourself, and then you are. I am wonderful. I am beautiful. I am capable. I am able. Level 5 is that of universal affirmation, and it's powerful more than anything when you get to level 5, because when you get to level 5, everything else that goes on around you cannot touch you, because then you start to believe that it is all taken care of. It is all well. It is all as it should be. Yes, people might still be unhappy with you. People might still be making negative comments about you. They still might be doing things that are not positive, but that will not touch you. So the impact it will have on you will minimize. As human beings, yes, we still might feel it, but eventually it would not disturb your peace of mind, and it all comes from within, because now at level 5, one would believe that they're worthy, they're lovable, and they deserve all the love in the world. So everything that's happening around you then is how it should be. It's all well. And it takes some time and it takes some effort and habit to get to level 5. But I promise you, it is achievable. It is doable. You can get to level 5. So very quickly, we're just going to touch upon these 4 techniques of enhancing self-love. They are all a full-length topic in themselves, but I'm just going to quickly touch upon this. So know what you really want. So visualize. So imagine. Imagination is a great tool. So you imagine what it is that you'd want in life, how it is that you would eventually want your life to be. What is your vision for yourself? And then you visualize that and you start to, of course, enjoy that, feel that emotion within. When you do that, it's not just going to give you the powerful energy from the future. There is actually a technique called future life progression. It's a therapy, and that allows you to go into future and tap into the emotion from there so that you can then bring that emotion into here and talk to yourself from level 4 and level 5. I am. It's all well. So when you visualize, you actually start to believe that it is possible for you to achieve that. Please feel free to take a screenshot of this as well. And if you'd like, I'd be happy to send out the PowerPoints as well if somebody would request that. Second one is create habits. So all the positive changes come to us through change of our habits. And again, I'd say it's not easy, but it's doable. Somebody who's bent on making that change can make that change. So lovely quote that I came across and really enjoyed that I wanted to share out with everyone. Courage, unused, diminishes. Commitment, unexercised, wane. And love, unshared, dissipates. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever it is that you plan to do, whatever vision you have for future, you have to take habit. You have to take action to create that habit, to get to that. So without action, any visualization, any ideas, any plans are almost useless. Making yourself feel good is really important. Emotion creates motion, they say. And what does that mean? So for example, let's say you're having a really bad day and you're feeling really down and low. If you have ever noticed, your body language would reflect how you feel. So your shoulders would be drooped, your head would be hanging down, you would definitely not be smiling, you might be frowning as well. So your whole body is telling not just people on the outside, but you as well. Oh, I am angry, or I am frustrated, or I am depressed, I'm really sad and upset. If you just stand up, look in the mirror and smile, and just tell yourself, we're talking mirror exercise again, tell yourself it's all going to be okay. Yes, it is a difficult time right now, but I have the abilities to deal with it. That works. And when your emotion changes, then you can actually think with a clearer head. You can actually approach the problem in a better, positive way. And ladies, again, I'm not just talking from what I've read about, what I've observed, I'm also talking from personal experience. And this, whatever techniques I'm sharing with you, they have saved me a number of times, and I know they can save anyone who tries to practice as well. Direct the focus of your mind. So instead of focusing on what the problem is, focus on what the solution is. And that is what your internal dialogue becomes as well. Eventually, when you have trained yourself to think in a particular positive manner, then when people go on and on about their problems and they're talking about problems and problems and problems and the same problem over and over again, you in your head would be thinking, okay, stop right there. I know what the problem is. Let's look at the solution. Let's see how we can tackle this. Let's see how we can turn this around to find a solution what the problem is. And that is what we should be focusing on, really. If the problem exists, it exists. And the only way of dealing with that problem is not ignoring it, not whinging and moaning about it, but actually getting up and taking some action. And you can only do that when you pass the stage of just focusing on the problem. I'm going to stop here for a second, just to see if everybody's okay. Could everybody give me a thumbs up if it's okay for me to carry on, if it's making sense? And we are going to take questions later at the end after Audrey's presentation. So if you've got questions, so you don't forget, please write them down. And we would hate to miss any of the questions as well, please. So the one last bit that I wanted to share with you is negative thought stopping exercise. And as I was saying, yes, we all come across times when we don't feel very good about stuff around us and we're not very happy with things. So this is what we can do then. If some things, you know, bothering us, we come across a negative thought, it triggers something within us and the negative thought starts. Now the trigger could be something really silly, really little, somebody's gesture, one little sentence, somebody's done something or said something, and triggers happen. And the negative thought comes straight following. And the associated thought, when saying that aloud, you'd probably say to yourself, or you rubbish, and you know good, and you know it's horrible how it's gone, or it's horrible where I am, and things like that. I would challenge you rather than advise you or request you. I'd challenge you to find an evidence that does not support the thought. And let me explain what that means. All of us have got evidence of how brilliant we are. And if I tell you a little example of how I managed to beat myself down mentally, I was a university topper when I did my master's, and I was the university's best actress in 1998 in the youth festivals, right? Inter-university youth festivals. However, for further from that point to the next 15 years, I managed to tell myself that I was worthless and useless and good for nothing. And that is because the associated thoughts that I was telling myself aloud or within myself, talking to myself, was very negative and low. I was talking to myself from level 1. And if I looked back, I could provide evidence that no, I was not that worthless. I was not that useless. Yes, I have got laurels. I have earned this being the top university student, and I've earned being this the top university actress, things. So I could actually steer that negative thought towards positivity. But I did not know better then. It took me 15 years to learn to do that. So evidence that does not support the thought. Each one of us has got evidence that tells you that whatever your negative thought is not the correct thought for you. That you are worthy, you are capable, you are good, you are actually great at what you do. And if there is a thought of positivity, if there's a thought of achievement that you're looking to get to, then that is a clear message that you have it within you. All you need to do is give yourself encouragement to get up and put that into action. So the alternative thought then would be, I am actually good. Look, I did that last year and it came out really well. I did this 2 years ago and that was fantastic as well. Everybody was very happy with my performance and I achieved this. So it's all practice. And I know it's going to be a little bit of habit building exercise, but it is possible. And once you get to a point where you don't let your negative thoughts beat you down, there is no stopping you. So associated thought, when saying thoughts aloud then would be, actually, it's not what I was thinking. I'm actually good at that. Look, I did this. And that becomes your positive thought for yourself then. So that you go up a level for self-talk. So whenever you feel seeking yourself into a negative self-talk, identify that each negative thought can be replaced by a positive one. So that's my last bit I want to say to you guys. Whatever you do during the day, whatever you do with yourself, whatever you tell yourself, howsoever you approach yourself, do it as if you actually love yourself. So if you're eating something, for instance, and this is not something you'd serve your children, because we're all guilty of this, especially as moms. So we'll eat stuff that's left over that children don't want, and it's food. and we feel guilty about throwing it. And sometimes we even realize that it's not good for my health, for my own body, for my personal reasons, but I still eat it. Do not serve yourself what you would not serve someone you love. So do eat as if you really love yourself. Wherever you go, howsoever you move, howsoever you treat yourself, do it as if you love yourself. And when you speak to yourself and when you speak to others, visualize yourself as if somebody you love. You would not tell somebody you love that they were worthless. Somebody you love would never hear this from you. You would never say to your child, to your sibling you love, to a friend, anyone, that they're useless, that they're no good, that they're incapable. So speak to yourself as if you love yourself. Act like you love yourself. Go out, buy stuff that you like buying. Go indulge into activities that will make you feel good. If it's a spa day, go have a spa day. If it's a walk in the park, go walk in the park. If you knew that somebody you love would feel good if you allowed them to go out somewhere or do something with them or for them, you would definitely make an effort to do that. Do that for yourself, please. Love yourself. And that is because I would say everything will then will become clearer. And any form of love that you're trying to get to, any form of success that you're trying to get to, any form of achievement you're trying to get to, that happens through you. And it's a shame that we're not taught that at school, that anything that you're trying to get to, it's going to come through you. It's you. You should be prioritizing, you should be loving, you should be appreciating, and that is how it becomes great and greater in time. Thank you so much. Over to you, Audrey.
Thank you so much. I've lost you. Where are you?
Hey.
Oh, you're down there. Sorry, you've moved. Thank you so much, Ritu. That was really good. Very good exercises in there as well. How many people know the mirror one? Yeah, quite a few of you do. That is, yes, I must say that I've practiced that myself, and it is very, very, very powerful. At first, yeah, you look at like your pimples and things like that, but the more and more you do it, the more you practice it, the more empowering it is. And yeah, thank you. Everybody put their hands together when you finished. So,
oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, I totally believe in everything, every single bit I have said. And as I say, I cannot emphasize, more on this, and always say that this is how anybody can achieve whatever they want, how anybody can feel good about themselves and get a happier, peaceful life, because self-love is not taught. We're taught to love everybody else. We're not taught to love us. And that is where we go wrong, because unless we love ourselves, we respect ourselves, unless we actually appreciate ourselves, acknowledge ourselves, embrace ourselves for whatever we are, the good, the bad, the ugly, the evil, whatever we are, we're not going to be able to find that peace, that everybody deserves, really, that we're looking for. And all we want, the ultimate, and Audrey will tell you more about this, the ultimate goal for every human's life, the ultimate passion everybody wants to achieve is that of happiness. We all want to be happy, and therefore we look on the outside and we try to please others, and we try to do things for others. We go way out of our way sometimes to do that, and I did that for the first 37 years of my life, and nothing comes back. And that is not on them, to be honest. That's on you, that's on us, that was on me. I did not love myself, so it did not reflect back. So everything I've said is 100% what works. It's totally tried and tested, and you'll find that in all self-development books, personal development books, but loads of living examples as well. So thank you so much. I can carry on. Sorry. Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you, Ritu. Thank you, Ritu. So as Richard said earlier, I come from a place of healing, and that is my passion. And again, I went through a lot of suffering, although I didn't realize at the time that, you always compare yourself to other people. You always say, well, I'm a lot better than other people, or there are other people who suffer more than I do. So you don't realize how much suffering that you are going through. And as a result, you can bury it, you can hide it, you can pretend that everything's all right. We do that a lot, don't we? Yes, I'm fine, thank you. But yeah, inside you are crying, you are emotional, you are nervous, you are not confident. And what I've learned is a lot of this stems from, as Richard just said, as Richard just said, a lot of this stems from being between 0 and 7 years old. So we have, our parents initially telling us, oh, don't go near that, don't do this, stop crying, you can't do this, you can't do that. And we grow up thinking, with these limiting beliefs, we are actually here to be happy and to enjoy life. But we have all this outside influence on us, and of course the things that we experience as well. In our heads, in our minds, we have these limiting beliefs that, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, oh, I can't do that, oh, that was naughty, and we start to feel guilty. We start to think, oh, and people, actually a lot of people have people say to them, you're not good enough, that's not good enough, you can do better, why aren't you doing this? And basically that's because they're wanting to enforce what they have on you. And of course we allow them, because why do we allow them? Especially if we're in a relationship, because we don't want to upset the cart, we don't want to make life harder for ourselves. And that is the place where I've come from. I'd rather have, a nice peaceful life, and if that means shutting up and not saying something, then so be it. I've learned since then. So I was fortunate enough actually to, think, okay, enough is enough, and I walked away. And I was fortunate enough as well to have a family who supported me and helped me. But I was strong enough, or I came to realize that we are more than what, the physical body, the thinking, the doing, the action, the feeling. We're actually more spiritual, and we have this connection to God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't realize that till later on in life. And when I found out about meditating, I was at a point where I didn't want to go home, because I wanted to, my son wouldn't be there, I'd be on my own, and I did everything to stay out of the home. And then I found out how to meditate, and that to me really, really helped, because all I did then, I wanted just to go home, sit down for 30 minutes, and that's all I said. I said, close my eyes, and I intended that I was meditating for 30 minutes, and I did this meditation. After 30 minutes, I was back. Don't know how it happens, but it does. And what I found with the meditation, is that I was going within, and because I was going within, I was finding the calm, I was finding the peace, I was getting out of my head and going into my heart. And this is what I'm helping people to do now. So the self-talk, the chitter-chatter in your head, that is all, just keeps you occupied, just keeps you doing something else, takes your mind off being present. And then you're thinking about things that aren't actually happening. Your perspective of something isn't not necessarily the reality of what's going on. And then you sort of, you can just go in a downward spiral. focusing on all the negatives, as Ritu was saying, and you just then start ending up beating yourself, which does you no good at all. So the daily, as Ritu was saying, with all the exercises she was doing, you know, keep doing it, keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. And that is the one way that you come out and that you change. So when you're practicing something positive, you're changing the neural pathways in your head, because they're used to going that way. And actually you think, oh, it's like your little train and somebody changes the junction, you go that way. And you do start to feel better. Not only do you start to feel better, you start to raise your vibrations. And when you raise your vibrations, you go to another level. So there is this table of consciousness that starts at apathy, shame. Right. So when you're operating from a place of shame, you're actually operating a very, very low vibration. And even saying the word shame is a low vibration word. So what we're practicing in our group is not to say shame, to take that out of our dictionary, because even when we talk, that's putting energy out there. That's having an effect on the vibration around us. And also, if we're talking to me, so I'm talking to you, and it will be affecting you. So it's just being aware of all this, being conscious of what we are saying, what we are doing, that can help us, you know, not help us, but have an effect on us and have an effect on other people. So doing these exercises is really, a lot of us, we dip down, don't we? When we go up and then we go down and then we go up. And I did that a lot. What I'm finding now, because we're doing daily meditations, keeping as positive as possible, is that when I do dip down, I don't go down as much as I did, you know. And that's because you can't go below a certain level once you keep repeating and repeating and practicing what you're doing. So what I'd like to do is just help you. How many of you have got your brains going, what I've got to do, what I've got to do there, what I've got to do now? And a very, very good way to do this is just to be in the present. Being in the present is another thing that we should practice quite often. And that is just basically, if you want to, right, the first thing to get you out of your head is to put your hand on your heart. So like the heart chakra, which is an energy center in your body, is in the middle of your chest. And if you have your feet planted on the floor, and make sure you're sitting up straight, as straight as you can. And just close your eyes. And focus on your breathing. So if you want to take deep, slow, deep breaths, take your breath all the way down to the bottom of your abdomen. And let it out slowly. And as you're breathing out, just feel your body, your shoulders relax. You're sinking into the chair. And just be aware of the temperature in the room, how it feels on your skin. Can you feel your heart pulsing? How does your chest feel? How does a hand on your chest feel? Can you smell anything? Is anybody doing any cooking? Just be aware of what you can smell. Be aware of the chair you're sitting on. How does that feel? And what can you hear? Are there any other sounds apart from me talking? And now take your awareness inside your body. And how does that feel? Keep taking your deep breaths. And now imagine that your inner self, you are growing bigger and bigger. You're getting as big as the room, as big as the building that you're in, as big as the sky, the clouds. And just feel strength coming out, pouring through you. Feel yourself filled with strength. Feel yourself just in your head as you say that. If you feel that, just say, I am strong. I am good enough. I am powerful. I am. I am good with children. Or I am good in my career. I am great at anything I put my mind to. I can achieve whatever I want to achieve. I deserve. And I reward myself whenever I do something that I know I can do, and I know I am doing it the best I can. And whatever anybody says is none of my business. Because I don't need someone to tell me that I am powerful. I don't need somebody to tell me that they love me. Because I love myself. I don't need to find happiness through someone else. My happiness is within me. My happiness comes through me from the universe, from God, from Spirit, whatever you call it. I am a source of happiness. I am a source of love. I am good enough. And through my strength, and my happiness, and my love, and my joy, I can emanate that essence, I can emanate that energy, so that anyone who comes near me is immediately affected by the love, by the peace, by the joy that I emanate. Just imagine that you are in this big bubble and it's filled with divine light and surrounded by a beautiful violet flame. And the bubble has mirrors on the outside and only allows love to come in and love to go out. And everything else is reflected back, keeping you safe, keeping you strong, keeping you secure, and keeping you free. Just focus on your heart. And there's a small white light that gets bigger and bigger and fills your heart. And the light comes out of your heart, going up into your shoulders, then down your left arm, into your hand, back into your heart. And it's cleansing and energizing. It's clearing your heart of any negative thoughts, any negative emotions,